Hi, welcome to Daily Dose of Anime Recaps. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the first 4 episodes of the series, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. A young gamer boy is teleported to the world of his favorite video game, and is made to play a character with powers and unique abilities. He's also entitled to 2 beautiful female slaves, and is frequently asked to complete some quests to get rewards. Will he be able to complete his quests and get back to his normal life, or will he get stuck into the fantasy gaming world? Before we begin, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next episodes. The episode opens up with a lonely teenager, Takuma Sakamoto, who spends the majority of his time staying inside his room, playing his favorite video game, Cross Reverie. In the game, he attacks a gamer couple just because they're in a relationship, and defeats them. As the game progresses, he upgrades his levels and also collects a lot of assets and weapons. It is evident that the boy loves the game and has become addicted to it. However, one day everything changes. He is suddenly summoned to the fantasy world of the game, Cross Reverie, as his favorite character, Demon Lord Diablo, with the powers and levels that he had acquired in the course of playing the game. To his surprise, as soon as he arrives at the alternative world, 2 beautiful girls, Pantherian, Rem Galeu, and elf, Shera L. Greenwood, kiss him on his cheeks and start claiming that one of them summoned him. As the girls are arguing, Takuma realizes that he is actually inside the plot of Cross Reverie, and is the powerful demon lord Diablo. Using his powers, he makes the girls shake their hands with each other and also turns them into his slaves. As soon as he does so, a choker-like thing appears around each of the girls, and now they are officially Diablo's slaves. While they're making their way to the city, Diablo realizes that he was able to cast the enslavement spells because of the powerful demon lord ring on his finger. On their way, they introduce each other, and Shera is so happy to know that her first summon is a demon lord. But Ren opposes her assumption. Again, the girls start to quarrel, and Diablo has to intervene, reminding them that they are actually heading to the city. In the next scene, the trio arrives in Faltra City and settles into the Peace of Mind Inn, where a vivacious innkeeper, May, greets them. Here also, the girls fight to be with Diablo in his chamber, as they cannot afford a room for each one of them because of the shortage of money. May intervenes to stop the 2 from arguing by threatening to eject them from the property if they continue to do so. Eventually, she also mentions that the 3 of them will be sharing a room with a single bed. As Diablo muses about his problem over the usage of a single bed, Celestine Baudelaire, a lady with whom Rem is familiar, and her 2 disciples arrive there. Shera mentions Celestine as the head of the Mages Association, and Diablo recalls the name and figures out that she's a major character in the game who controls the whole city. Celeste, aka Celestine, had originally intended to speak with Rem, but when she notices Shera and Rem wearing slave collars with Diablo there, she expresses interest in their predicament. Next, Celeste talks with Diablo and finds out that he is unable to undo the enslavement ritual that he performed on the girls earlier. She then decides to help the girls by studying the undo process in detail. During their conversation, Diablo talks with Celeste in a commanding tone, which one of her disciples, Galuk, does not like. Galuk tries to threaten Diablo but is stopped by his master. Following this, Celeste converses with Rem and proposes to provide some guards for her, but Rem kindly refuses. After the situation between Rem and Celeste is resolved, Diablo inquires with Rem about her connection with Celeste. Rem refuses to talk about it, and Diablo gets an insight that Rem is hiding a secret relating to a crucial plot development that would be better to be aware of beforehand in order to avert a future catastrophe. Desperate to know the secret, Diablo takes Rem back to their chamber to punish her. Inside their chamber, Diablo gently and innocently tortures Rem until she eventually tells him her secret about the spirit of Demon Lord Krebskullum trapped inside her body. Listening to this, Diablo remembers the Demon Lord as the game's deadliest character. Rem then explains how she wants to be free and eliminate Krebskullum's spirit from her body, and Diablo tells her that doing so will also kill her. He also concludes that Krebskullum's spirit inside Rem's body is the reason why Celeste wanted to help Rem before. Despite knowing about the critical condition, Diablo promises to help Rem, making her emotional. After that, Diablo goes on a walk around the town and is eventually approached by Galuk and the other members of the Mages Association. Galuk seems enraged by Diablo's attitude and attacks him by summoning a level 30 salamander. The salamander does not surprise Diablo, as he thinks that its level is not up to the mark. The salamander spits a fireball at Diablo, but he escapes unharmed. In a fit of rage, Galuk commands his summon to burn Diablo, and the salamander responds by unleashing a powerful flamethrower-like fire. Despite this, Diablo remains still, and attacks the salamander with his level 150 magical wand, eliminating it instantly. Surprised, Galuk then asks Diablo about his origin, and he replies that he's a demon lord from another world. The next day, Diablo wakes up on the bed with the two girls in an awkward situation, placing his hands on their private parts. Following this, the trio can be seen walking around the streets, and Rem mentions that they are currently in the district of demi-humans. Shera then adds that their strength can only be measured by the levels they acquire. She also states that she wants to know her level after Rem claims that she is a level 40 summoner. To clear the confusion, the group heads towards a palace called Adventurers Guild, which will help them to know their level after registering themselves. Together, the group walks to the second floor of the building and registers themselves as adventurers. After this, the group stands before a mirror, and Shera is asked to touch the mirror first with her palm, focusing on all the magical powers she possesses. Much to her dismay, the mirror reveals that she is a level 30. Diablo is then asked to do the same as Shera, but as soon as he puts his hand on the mirror starts behaving strangely, grabbing the attention of the guildmaster, Sylvie. Sylvie approaches the group and takes them to her office. Here, she tells Diablo that he belongs to a very high level, and because of this, they do not have any job requests for him. However, Diablo tells her that he is ready to take any quest till he continues getting the rewards. Listening to this, Sylvie hands over a task for the group to subdue a Madara snake in the man-eating woods. Afterward, Diablo, along with Rima and Shera, head towards the woods, assuming that the requester for the quest could be Celeste. The discussion then shifts to Diablo implying that they ought to have utilized a teleport spell to get to the woods faster. But Rem tells him that none of them are available at that place. Next, the group arrives at the woods and Shera finds out that they are surrounded by a group. Soon, Diablo unleashes his Burst Rain fire spell and compels the ambushers to come out from their hiding places. The ambushers then introduce themselves as elves, and one of them, Celsior, also mentions that they are there to take back Shera. He says that she's the princess of the kingdom of Greenwood and is supposed to bear the child of her brother. However, Shera refuses to return to the kingdom and says that she wants her freedom. Diablo also supports Shera, enraging the elves and causing them to launch arrows at him. To the elves' surprise, their special arrow also does not do any damage to Diablo. After the elves' failed attempt, Diablo casts Frisia spell and freezes the area of the woods, instigating Galuk to show himself and chastise the elves. Soon, Galuk flees the scene, and Shera tells the elves that she has no intention to return to the kingdom before departing from the place. Shera and Diablo can be seen enjoying an intimate moment, but are interrupted by Rem. In the next scene, Diablo and his two female slaves are at Sylvie's office, where Sylvie gives the group a unique quest that is commissioned just for Diablo. Celeste, who made the request, is assumed to have been motivated by one of her subordinates' rude actions toward the group. Rem protests that she can't accept the quest because she owes Celeste money, but Diablo insists on doing it whether Rem accompanies him or not. Once that has been resolved, Shera proceeds to study the terms of the quest, which seems to be a straightforward delivery task that requires them to deliver refreshments at the bridge of Ulug. As the group is about to leave the Adventurers Guild building, a guy by the name of Emil stops Diablo and challenges him to a battle, while boasting that he's a level 50 superhuman warrior. Despite being charmed by Emil's personality, Diablo acts in character and teases him. Without delaying, Emil attacks Diablo with his sword, using the Sword Smite ability, but Diablo deflects the attack with his magical wand. Next, Emil attempts to utilize another sword spell, Alp's Fall, but Diablo knocks him unconscious before he can even execute it. Despite this, after regaining consciousness, Emil again tries to attack Diablo, but is stopped by Rem and Shera, who assure him that Diablo is not a threat to them. After learning the truth, Emil apologizes to Diablo and walks away from there, not before telling the girls that they can get in touch with him if they ever need assistance. The scene then shifts to Shera and Diablo continuing with the quest. On their way to the bridge of Ulug, Shera proposes they swim for a while in a nearby river for refreshment. Diablo is startled by the proposal and rejects it right away. Later, when they get to the bridge of Ulug, some soldiers ask them to stop, thinking Diablo is a fallen, demonic being. But Boris, one of the soldiers, identifies him as the Horned Demon that recently became the buzz of the town. Boris informs the two that a fallen with a sizable army of demons is on its way there. Listening to this, Diablo wonders about the elements that might have provoked the incident, noting that similar events in the games were unheard of. After looking around the bridge, Diablo deduces that the demons will easily defeat the soldiers at the bridge, since they are of low levels. Shera speculates that the invasion may have something to do with the demons' desire to bring Crepusculum back to life. Diablo surmises that they must be aware of Rem's seal. After hearing about Boris's concern for the citizens, Diablo decides to remain and prevent the invasion. Back at the inn, Rem is informed by Celeste that she has fired Galuk due to his recent behavior. She also tells Rem that she thinks Diablo is a fallen rather than an extraterrestrial demon lord. Rem opposes that claim and argues that Diablo is not a fallen. Moments later, a bloody-handed Galuk arrives there as he prepares to stab himself with a demonic dagger. Rem tries her best to stop him from doing so and also summons a shadow snake, but fails since Galuk succeeds in stabbing himself before changing into the fallen Gregor. On the other hand, Diablo keeps up the struggle against the demon invaders until Edelgard, the demon's commander, runs up to attack him. Moving on, the refugees enter Fortress City, under the impression that they would be protected from the approaching demon invasion by the Celeste barrier. They are unaware of the fact that Celeste is in a difficult situation because of her subordinate transforming himself into Gregor, a fallen. Meanwhile, Rem and Celeste try to flee the inn, but reach a dead end and are confronted by Gregor. To save their leader, Rem summons Asulau, but he's defeated by Gregor with just a blow. While a sizable number of adventurers gather at the location to rescue them, Emil descends from the sky in front of Rem and Celeste and promises to help them. Despite Gregor easily overpowering him, Emil does not give up and keeps on fighting, keeping his promise to stand up for all the women in need. Meanwhile, at the bridge of Ulug, Diablo and Edelgard are still fighting. Edelgard tries her best to overpower Diablo and defeat him, but fails in each of her attempts. As Edelgard prepares to utilize her spell, Sacrifice Charge, against Diablo, Diablo remarks that her strike is the first one that has injured him since he entered their world. Edelgard is surprised to witness that her special attack had no serious impact on Diablo. Right then, Boris alerts Diablo that Celeste and Rem are under attack in Fortress City by a fallen invasion. When Diablo realizes how bad the situation has become, he prepares to cast a grand magic spell and issues an option to Edelgard to leave. However, Edelgard refuses to budge, compelling Diablo to summon White Nova, the powerful spell which obliterates the region, including the demon army. Surprisingly, Edelgard survives the spell despite being severely hurt. Immediately after this, Diablo casts another magic spell and teleports himself and Shera back to the town. When Diablo performs numerous dark press spells in response after Gregor uses his, which was reflected back upon Gregor, Gregor is then knocked to the ground by the attack's gravitational power and pleads for mercy, but Diablo offers none. Despite this, Diablo then casts the magical spell Naraku to put an end to Gregor. With the battle coming to an end, Shera sobs and hugs Diablo, and Rem reaches out to shake his hand and express her gratitude for saving her. In the end, Diablo declares that the only reason he assisted Rem was because of the slave collar around her neck, which proves that she is his slave.